Hi everyone, it's Mariah. I thought I'd do something a little bit different today, and whilst I will still be doing a watercolour painting today, I thought I'd take you through the process of how I turn my watercolour paintings into stickers. Now, this painting was completed with the intention of it becoming a sticker, but it did start out as this little sketch on a post-it note. This was a little sketch that I did during a lecture or something like that, and it was just an idea that I needed to get out of my head, and then I stuck that post-it note on my wall for a few weeks until I finally did something about it. When doing this little sketch, I just had the idea of doing these kind of witchy, wizardy, magical animals, and so this was where it started. And then the other night I had some sketchbook time to myself with no pressure, no filming, just painting and drawing, and this is where it really began to take shape. So here it is, and none of these paintings are perfect and none of them were intended to be perfect. Actually, there's a lot of errors with that frog. But there you can see the bird and there's the frog, and you can see I actually changed it quite a bit. And then there's just this little mischievous rabbit over here who's thinking, what will happen if I drop this carrot into this cauldron? Now, as I said, this frog is far from perfect. The watercolour isn't well blended and it has all these dried kind of lines everywhere, and I knew I wanted to make it better, and also those eyes are a bit atrocious in my opinion. But I decided to take out some of my Fabriano Aquarello Artistico watercolour paper in cold press, which I did a review on the other day. It's definitely not my favourite still, but it did the job, and I didn't really want to use my Saunders paper for this one. So I spent about 20 minutes doing the sketch for this one, and obviously it was easier because I had the reference there from the other one. I did include the sketch even though it's a bit light to see. For the most of the sketch I used a 2H pencil, and then sometimes went in with a bit of a 2P pencil to just darken some of the lines. Whenever I'm working with watercolour paper, I feel so anxious about erasing anything, especially using a hard eraser and not a kneadable eraser, because if you are too vigorous with the paper and the eraser, it can kind of ruin the texture and create some issues with the painting. And I did quite a bit of erasing with this one, but it turned out alright, and I think just because of the way that I wanted to paint it and the nature of the painting, knowing that I was going to edit in Photoshop, that I wasn't too fussed. I didn't really change anything from the original painting. Obviously the original sketch on that post-it note got changed completely, except I did give the frog more toes because I realised I should probably look it up and make it somewhat anatomically correct, and gave the frog 5 toes because I believe frogs have 5 toes according to Google, and I didn't want anyone to get upset over that. So this frog has 5 toes and I think 4 fingers. For the painting phase, which we're in now, I often laid water down beforehand because I really wanted just the paints to blend and flow nicely. Sometimes they did kind of feather a bit more than I wanted them to, but overall it turned out alright. I didn't use too many colours to do this painting, but nor was my palette super limited. I used a mixture of New Gamboge and Pyrrole Red for the orange in the feet, and then for the green I had sap green mixed in with my own colour that I made myself, Cloudless, which was part of my collaboration with James. During this painting I refound my love for Daniel Smith's Moon Glow. It is such an amazing colour and I used it often for the shadows. I did also use Pearlane Green to create darker colours as well in the painting. I did use Ochre Pink as I did in the original painting. I really liked how that looked, but the Ochre Pink in this one was a little more subtle, and I like how it turned out, but I do also really like how the pink looks in the original sketch in my sketchbook. I did also use Hansa Yellow Light, so more of a lemony kind of yellow on the belly and chest of the frog where there was a bit more light. I think I only did about 2 layers of paint for this painting, and then I went in with pencils, which we'll talk about when I use them in just a moment. I really enjoyed taking my time with this painting process, and I spent about 30 to 40 minutes painting before I went in with the pencils. I really love this little character, and I haven't quite come up with a backstory to him yet. I don't know if he is part of an army of frogs, like a guardian of the pond or something, or if he is a lone guardian or something like that, but I kind of think of him as a pond or swamp guardian, some sort of protector or something like that. So I do really want to build a story behind this guy and maybe build his world a little bit more. I wanted to make him look a little grumpy and standoffish, like he's telling you to back off a little bit, and I just can't stop thinking about all the different coloured frogs out there and how many different type of guardian frogs there could be out there throughout the world, and what their staffs would look like and what different colours they might have. We're about halfway through the video, and I just want to say, if you guys are enjoying this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to. I'm getting videos out every week at the moment. For the staff, the wood of the staff, I just used some raw umber and then I mixed in some alizarin crimson because I just wanted to be a bit of a warmer coloured wood. And for the orb, I just used the orange that was used in the feet that I mixed up, and then I used, I believe it was some Hansa Yellow Light and also some Purell Red on its own, and mixed them together to kind of create that orby vibe. The eyes also had the same orange with a bit of extra Purell Red added to them. I made these with the intention of them being glossy stickers, and that's only because I currently have some nice quality vinyl inkjet printable adhesive paper. That was a mouthful, and that's what I have on hand. So that was the plan, but then I did also print them on a different matte paper, which isn't as high quality as the vinyl, but I still like it, and I am looking at getting some vinyl matte paper, but I think I prefer them as matte. But I think it's such a personal choice because I generally like a matte sticker more, but I know some people really prefer using a glossy sticker. So at the moment I've printed both, but I probably will narrow it down eventually and just produce one type of these. I really had a lot of fun making this, and I definitely have plans or hopes to make more, and I hope that you guys enjoy this painting because I would definitely love to make more in this style and with this kind of story and maybe create a bit of a world around it. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, let me know. I think that bird might soon become a more put together painting and maybe a sticker as well. So here I am now starting to use my pencils, and I'm using a mixture of my Faber Castell and my Prismacolors for this. I think I've owned my tin of Prismacolors for over 6 or 7 years, and I have this very vivid memory of in high school in the art room having my Prismacolor tin of 24 pencils and dropping them on the floor and hearing them all crash to the floor and just being able to see all the leads in them breaking. I do really struggle with sharpening my Prismacolors. I do find the leads break a lot. I don't know if that's because I find them to be very soft leads or if that's because I've just dropped them one too many times. My Faber Castells are a more recent addition to my collection. I don't have that many of them. I'd probably say I have about 7 or 8 Faber Castell pencils, maybe a few more. I got a few whilst I was in Japan, and then recently when I think I was buying some gouache or something, I decided to stock up on a few other colours. I definitely prefer the Faber Castells personally over the Prismacolors. I just find the Prismacolors are so soft and I don't really enjoy using them, but I don't have that many Faber Castells either. So would I like to buy a set of Faber Castells? Absolutely. Can I justify buying a set of Faber Castells? Absolutely not. So that is a future me hope and dream, and there's a lot of other art supplies I want to buy before then. So I then scanned this painting in using my printer and put it into Lightroom. As you can see, there is no method to my madness with editing it. I kind of just move some of the options back and forth and see what I like, and then also do a comparison from the edited version to the original, so you might see it flip back and forth a few times. And once I'm happy with that, I exported it into Photoshop. I do generally like to add some random colour to the background just so I don't have that stark white that I'm working against, but I do change that in a moment to match kind of the tone of the paper because I do start erasing things. So I just kind of start off, and I want to firstly say I am no expert at all in Photoshop, so yes, is there a better way to do what I'm doing? I could probably guarantee that there is, but this is the way that I know how to do it, so it's what I went with. To start with, I basically just went around and in some areas I filled in and added a little more, like you can see now, and then others I just went through with the eraser and cleaned up some edges that were a bit wonky and I wasn't too happy with. This is a funny balance to try and find because I still want it to be a painted art piece, so I'm not looking to perfect it, just trying to make it look more like what I want it to look like, and it also gives me the opportunity to fix up any errors. To do this, I did have my little Wacom tablet attached via Bluetooth to my computer, and I use that for most of the erasing. I just find it a lot easier and I have a lot better control. The next step for me is to erase the paper that hasn't got any of the paint on it, and then I go around and I clean up the edges a bit more. Once I'm happy with this, I select the image, I expand the selection, I smooth the selection, and then I fill in a layer below the painting image with white, and that gives me my cutout area. This isn't a super in-depth tutorial, but that is how I do it for Cricut, and then I open a new canvas that is the size of the print and cut option for Cricut. I make the sticker the size that I want it to be because this is the exact size canvas, so it's about 3 inches, and then I figure out how I want them to lay out on the paper to get me as many stickers as possible, and then I export it as a PNG file with a transparent background. So here is a snapshot of the PNG. I just wanted to show it because I did do a few more edits afterwards. I'm not sure why my video editing software makes the background black, but that's okay. I just want to show that I did go in with the dodge tool and the burn tool to create more of an orby kind of vibe to that staff, and then I think I added a bit more depth to the shadows in a few areas. I also didn't like the shape of the light emitting from the orb, so I made it more round because it was just a bit square and I didn't like how that looked with the sticker cut out, so I changed that a bit as well. Now it's time to put in my sticker paper. I put it in one sheet at a time or else it can get a bit jammed, and then I print it off. I'm just using my Epson Eco Tank. I really like it. You can see the model on the screen there. It's not the most expensive or the most fancy, but nor is it the cheapest, and I really enjoy it. I think it does a good job and it's pretty economical. Then we move it over to my Cricut, and I love this machine. When using glossy paper, I always put the top lid down. You can see my cat walking across the screen. Normally she's not in that room, but we were just doing the one cut, so I didn't mind. And then we have stickers. So here are the stickers. There's a mixture of the glossy and the matte ones here. I'm really happy with how they turned out. By the time this video is up, they will be available on my Etsy if you want to get one, so I will link that down below. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe. I get videos out every week. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, leave them down below and I'll try and get to you. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day.